World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Want to quit your day job? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
This is bad. Wait, let's just do it ourselves.
It is not fear that grips him, only restlessness, a heightened sense of things. The smell of engine and sweat, the engine rattling his blood, the crowd roaring. The race is about to start. He breathes deeply to focus. In this league, he finally found what he was looking for. A true passion.
Sono Massimo Paganini e per anni ho cercato una macchina che mi desse gioia, adrenalina nella guida e finalmente l'ho trovata nella G1 Series. Se anche tu vuoi provare una macchina che ti dia gioia e adrenalina, G1 Series 2020.
So, you think you got what it takes to race in the G1 Series? Can you keep your concentration? Even in the most stressed situations, can you keep pushing even when things go wrong? Can you master different environments? Can you adapt immediately to different conditions? Can you keep learning? Learning from your opponents, learning from your mistakes, learning from everyone, anytime, anywhere, until you reach your goal and become the best you can. Think you got what it takes to race in the 2020 G1 Series? Then fill in the form now.
Want real followers? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
A good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to round number 4 of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020, presented by Fiverr. We are very excited to present you today with another 2 rounds of racing today at the freshly delivered 2020 Zandvoort track. I think we're going to see some amazing racing here today. And I'm sure you'll be happy to watch it too. My name is Felix van Delft. I will be your commentator for today. And the broadcast will be done as usual by Justin Mifsud, race director Adrian Figallo, and chief steward George Muscat also helping us out here. So, first off, in today's races, we're going to jump into the amateur championship in just a little bit. After that, the Pro Championship will take place. The pros will show us how it's done. But as I said, first, we're going to head into the Amateur Championship. Of course, the races today will consist of a 20-minute race by the amateurs and later a 30-minute race by the pros. Before that, we'll have a 10-minute qualifying session. And, of course, also a bit of a warm-up, a bit of a break between the qualifying and the race for the drivers to get ready. Let's have a look at what happened before in this amateur championship. Of course, Philip Kraus has been really strong throughout this entire series. Previous 3 rounds have been all won by Philip Kraus. I think he's definitely the favorite for today here in Zandvoort once again, taking all the wins so far. Of course, last time around in Imola wasn't as close as before. He even said in the interview after the race that he probably was a little bit lucky. Sam Carpenter, his main rival for the season at the moment, was quicker. Sam Carpenter is at the moment 30 points behind him in the championship. Phil Kraus is leading with 105 points. Sam Carpenter he has 75 points in the championship. In third at the moment, a bit further down, is Luka Ferlic. Then fourth, we have Pierre-André Previdi. Stoyan Barbikov is tied with Previdi for fifth with also 38 points. And then Alessandro Vernu had a pretty decent race last time around, finished in third. He's at the moment in sixth position. Tom Sadderly was able to finish second in the first race, but didn't finish in Silverstone last time around. And Imola, he wasn't there. So let's see if he will be here today to contest again for perhaps the win. As we will jump into the practice session, first practice session of the day here at Zandvoort in just a short moment time. Of course, these drivers are fighting for some amazing prizes here, provided by our partners, Thrustmaster and GT Omega. Thrustmaster is providing the drivers with a nice wheel. It is a TMX Force Feedback Pro steering wheels, and GT Omega Racing is providing us with an ART cockpit. So I'm sure that Phil Kraus, at the moment, as he is at least my favorite, perhaps somebody else in the YouTube or the Facebook chat has a different idea, then please let us know. Of course, also, if you like what you see today, make sure to follow us on Facebook. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. And of course, also have a look at the social media pages of our partners, Fiverr, Griiip, Thrustmaster, and GT Omega, to not miss any of the action going on here at World Pro Racing. As we're now in the first practice session of the day, 10 minutes of practice before we jump into the qualifying session. Of course, this new Zandvoort track, it's mostly not a lot different than what we had before, except for 2 corners which is of course the Hugenholz bocht and the Adi Luijendijk bocht. Both of those corners have been cambered by quite a bit, and I'm interested to see how this will change the race here. Of course, that last corner will allow the drivers to go full throttle through there, and perhaps have just a little bit more speed coming onto the straight and take that slipstream if they're behind another car and make an overtake work. Phil Kraus at the moment looking to set his first lap time of the day in this practice session. Of course, as I've said before, one of the favorites in this amateur championship. Let's see if he is able to get back as he goes a little bit wide there out of corner number 9 into 10 over the grass a little bit. That's of course what you want to avoid in the qualifying session, but of course this is still his first lap in practice, so still getting used to the track, perhaps getting used to how this car drives on this track. I'm sure he's already found a great balance in this car as he's won the first 3 races in this championship. Of course, later in the day we'll get with the pros, we'll get racing with the pros. Eran Jarjowski leading that championship. Risto Kappet, his teammate, will be looking to challenge him once again, but stay tuned for that. We'll come with that at around 9 in the evening, so in just under an hour's time we'll get racing with the pros. Alan Smith, also one of the drivers that it's started to set his lap times here in the practice session. As you can see here, this beautifully cambered Hugenholz bocht allows the drivers to take a lot more speed through the corners. Also quite a few different lines possible through that corner, so we're gonna have to wait and see how the drivers will take advantage of that camber in the corner to perhaps make an overtake work, or perhaps get a bit more lap time in the qualifying session, as Alan Smith is right behind Caneo here. Astorian Barbakov also in front as Alan Smith dives up the inside of turn 9 there. Turn 10 and turn 9 combination is quite tricky to get right. Also in these Griiip G1 virtual cars. Astorian Barbakov coming through the Hans Ernst bocht, pushing those tires absolutely to the limit at the moment, trying to get the most out of them as he escapes back to the pit lane because he hit that outside wall there a little bit. Sam Carpenter, second in the championship, looking to perhaps take a win here today. That would definitely help him in the championship standings, but he's got quite a way to go. Like I said before, 30 points behind Philip Kraus at the moment. So he needs to gain quite a few, and there's only 2 more rounds after today. Of course, next week we will be racing at Circuit d'Azur, which will definitely be one of the most exciting races on the calendar, I think, and after that we'll head to the Nürburgring. But not a lot of races left for Sam Carpenter to try and roll back that championship lead of Philip Kraus as Sam Carpenter comes through that final corner. You can see how much banking there is over start-finish to start his lap. Of course, the famous Tarzan bocht with the changed pit lane there on the inside. Coming into that Hugenholz bocht. This first curb you can take quite a bit of. Throwing the car into the Hugenholz bocht. A bit too much rotation on the car. Hit that inside curb a little bit too much, I think. Losing a little bit of exit speed out of the Hugenholz bocht. Now into Schijfvlak. Very fast right-hander. Just a little bit of a lift and a downshift through there. And also Masters bocht. Quite a fast corner as well. Flick it into turn 9 there. Seems like a pretty decent lap so far for Sam Carpenter. Turn 10, you want to get as much exit speed out of here as possible because this straight coming up to the Hans Ernst is, well, I wouldn't say really long, but of course you will gain all the time that you gain on the exit of that corner throughout that entire straight. Downshift through here on the power into the final corner, a little bit wide onto the gravel there. Zandvoort is really not a forgiving track. If you make any mistakes, you will either end up in the grass or in the gravel, as Sam Carpenter there does not go quicker than at the moment fastest driver in this practice session, Pierre-André Previdi. Philip Kraus maybe struggling a little bit in P3 at the moment, about 7/10, a little bit less off the fastest time in the session, or perhaps he's just taking it easy at the moment, trying to get himself ready for the practice session, not over pushing himself, just gaining confidence in the car. He is coming out of the final corner to set a lap, looking decent so far in the first two sectors as he goes across the line, and indeed finds quite a bit of time. 1:26.374 for Philip Kraus, almost half a second quicker than what Previdi was able to do just before. There's about 2 minutes left in this practice session before we head into qualifying. André Previdi is looking to start another lap here, coming across start finish into the Tarzan bocht. Looking good so far. A bit of traffic on his lap. Car in front getting out of the way there a little bit. I think that helps him get through that corner without a lot of dirty air. This first sector, not the best we've seen, I guess, also as a consequence of that traffic that he had there. Schijfvlak missing the inside apex slightly, but looks clean through there. Masters bocht, you want to take that curb, but not that much, as he almost loses the car. Nice catch there by him though, but I don't think that's going to help his lap time, as he also goes wide there in turn 9. So that will be his attempt over for now. But of course, he'll be lining himself up to try once again. So Andrea Dalla Vella is also at the moment down in P7, starting his lap in just a bit, coming through the final corner now. At the moment he's about 1.3 seconds of what Philip Kraus was able to do. Of course, that is measuring him with the absolute top of the amateur series. So far, Andrea Valle is in P9 of the championship. He was able to finish fourth in Silverstone. So definitely shows that he's got pace to get a top 5 finish. At the moment, he is struggling a little bit though, down in P8 of this practice session. But practice is of course not what will make the grid in the end. That's going to be the qualifying session. We'll be heading into that session in just a bit as we come to the final moment of this practice session. Philip Kraus once again proving to be very quick around this track in this car with a 1:26.374 on the clock here in the first practice session of the day. And we will be heading into qualifying now. All the drivers getting to the end of the pit lane, making sure they are ready to set the fastest lap time that they can possibly do, of course, without going into the gravel or hitting any walls. That's the main goal here in the practice, as the light goes green and the pit lane and Philip Kraus and all the other drivers head out onto the track to start their qualifying. Of course, after this qualifying session, we'll be racing for 20 minutes. And probably no pit stops unless There's some damage on these cars. These drivers will go straight to the end from the start of the race. So strategy is not that much of a factor in these races. But of course you still need to be careful that you don't wear your tires too much throughout the race, because then perhaps some driver that has been nursing his tires a little bit more might have a bit of a pace and grip advantage at the end of the race and might be able to get past you if you're not careful. Now Phil Kraus, I think, is looking to get past this car in front of him to get a clean lap in, clean banker lap in at the start of this qualifying session. Making sure his tires are ready, warmed up, his brakes are warmed up. Coming through the final 2 corners to start his first attempt, Philip Kraus. Let's see what he can do here on his first attempt in qualifying today. Coming to the first corner, braking right before the 50-meter board. A little bit of a drift coming through Tarzan there. Ooh, a bit wide, bit of understeer. He had to lift even coming through that corner. Now a bit of a lift, dab of the brakes. Coming in Hugenholz. A bit on the inside, perhaps a bit too much. Exit seems okay though. Coming down the little straight. Rob Slotemaker bocht. And then into Schijvlak. Fast right-hander trying to keep the car stable through there. Masters bocht. This is the inside apex a little bit, but I don't think that's too bad. Turn 9. Lap looking really clean so far for Phil Kraus. In a bit of a snap there, trying to turn into turn 10. You want to take the exit speed here. Down the back straight. Coming into the Hans Ernst bocht. Braking hard. Hitting the inside apex nicely. As well, looking really clean through there. Final 2 corners. Bit of a lift. Ooh, hits the inside apex a bit too much. Car bounces off it. Probably lost a little bit of speed coming out of that corner now onto the main straight. Let's see what Phil Kraus's first lap time is going to be. 1:26.798. Great banker to set down. But perhaps still a bit of room for improvement. Kirsten Abier in second at the moment with a 1:27.3. Stoyan Barbakov 27.5 as his first lap. Sam Carpenter is right now on the back straight. First sector was almost half a second slower than what Phil Kraus was able to do. Second sector now about 0.3 slower than Phil Kraus. So Carpenter a bit slower at the start of this qualifying session, sorry. As he comes through the final corner now. Looking to set his first lap time in the qualifying session today. What will it be? Sam Carpenter puts in a 1:27.041. I think a bit further down than what he would like at the moment. But of course there's still almost 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So enough time for him to find a bit more pace in his car. Phil Kraus is coming to the line to set another lap time. In the meantime, Raimo Okas has been able to set a really nice lap to put himself in second place. 1:26.9, about almost 4/10 of what Philip Kraus was able to do in his first attempt. Raimo didn't really have the best start of his season. At the moment, P10 in the championship. Got 7 points in Silverstone. Finished there in P9 and managed to get into the top 5 at Imola last time around. Perhaps with a qualifying like this, he's able to get himself a top 5, maybe even a podium today, as Pierre-André Previdi is able to improve on that lap time. And Sheldon Muscat as well, slotting in between those two. So time's starting to get closer to each other. Sam Carpenter coming around the final corner to set his second time of the day. I think it hasn't been a great lap time as well. No, I don't think he even improved on that lap. So Carpenter needs to find quite a bit of time to put himself close to his championship rival, Philip Kraus. Philip Kraus coming out of the pit lane now to set another lap as Pierre-André Prevy is coming into the Hans Ernst bocht to set another lap time. So far, this lap has been a personal improvement in Sector 2. Sector 1, not so much, but let's see what this final sector is going to be for Previdi. Out of the final corner. And across the line he comes. It is going to be not an improvement, but about 4 thousandths of a second slower than what he did in his previous fastest attempt. So he's definitely consistent with his qualifying times at the moment. Just needs a little bit more before, or if he wants to challenge Philip Kraus for pole position here today. About 3.5 minutes to go. Sheldon Scott Muscat is looking to set another lap time in just a minute as he's on his outlap. Almost all drivers on an outlap at the moment. Muscat is coming over the line now to start his next attempt. Speed of about 247 kilometers an hour coming into Tarnas bocht as he is very much sideways there through there. That's not going to be helping his lap time at all here in this first sector. It's the inside curb there nicely. Turning it in, a bit of tire smoke, but that's okay. We've seen that from other cars as well. Using the full exit curb there out of Dugenholz bocht to this little straight. This is all flat out in these cars. Into the schijfvlak, shifting down a gear and then full throttle again. A little lift as the car understeered there a little bit. Masters bocht almost drifting it through there. Car definitely looking to be a bit unstable. Turn 10 now. Again, rear stepping out a little bit. That's not going to be helping him. So far this lap hasn't been much of an improvement. First sector was a personal improvement, but the second sector losing quite a lot of time there. And now let's see what he's able to do in this final sector. Coming through the last corner now. Beautiful banking. Onto the start-finish straight. And let's see what his lap time will be. As he does a 124.271, so it's about 4/10 of what he's been able to do previously. Philip Kraus, however, he's been able to improve his personal best lap time to a 126.388, putting himself even more in front of Pierre-André Previdi. Over 4/10 is the gap now between the two. As Pierre is at the moment on his outlap to set his, I think, final attempt, as there is about 45 seconds remaining in the session. And the drivers will be allowed to finish the lap, so I think it's going to be very close with some of these drivers coming to the line to set their final attempts. Pierre is definitely allowed to do another one. Phil Kraus has been able to set a purple first sector and a personal best second sector so far. Let's see what he can do in his final one. Main thing that I can notice as a difference between Philip Kraus and the other drivers, or at least some of the other drivers, is that Philip is looking so much more stable with his car as he comes across the line to not improve, or he does improve his lap time once again, 126.278. Definitely showing that he's got the pace. Sheldon Muscat, however, has also improved on his personal best, putting in a 126.690. Sam Carpenter across the line in the final moments of qualifying with a 126.632, putting himself on the front row next to his championship contender in the last possible moment here in this qualifying session. Previdi dropping down to 5th at the moment in the final moments of qualifying. He's still able to set a lap time though, as he comes through the final couple of corners. Goes very wide though through the Hans Ernst bocht. And he will not be improving, I think. I think nobody else will be able to contest for this pole position. Still a few drivers on a lap though. Kirsten Ebier improves his lap time, goes up to P7. Andrea Dalla Valle coming across the line in just a sec. Also Nathan Mifsud as he comes into the pit lane. He will not be improving. Andrea Dalla Valle does not improve, and he will be starting from 8th place here in the amateur series of the Griiip G1 2020 series presented by Fiverr. But of course, main man of the qualifying session, Philip Kraus, once again will be starting from pole position. He'll be looking to continue that pace, of course, through the race. 20 minutes long that will be. But first, we will be heading into a 10-minute warm-up session. Before that, though, we are going for a short advertisement break. We'll get back racing after this.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Want to quit your day job? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
This is bad. Wait, let's just do it ourselves.
It is not fear that grips him, only restlessness, a heightened sense of things. The smell of engine and sweat, the engine rattling his blood, the crowd roaring. The race is about to start. He breathes deeply to focus. In this league, he finally found what he was looking for. A true passion.
Sono Massimo Paganini e per anni ho cercato una macchina che mi desse gioia, adrenalina nella guida e finalmente l'ho trovata nella G1 Series. Se anche tu vuoi provare una macchina che ti dia gioia e adrenalina, G1 Series 2020.
So, you think you got what it takes to race in the G1 Series? Can you keep your concentration? Even in the most stressed situations, can you keep pushing even when things go wrong? Can you master different environments? Can you adapt immediately to different conditions? Can you keep learning? Learning from your opponents, learning from your mistakes, learning from everyone, anytime, anywhere, until you reach your goal and become the best you can. Think you got what it takes to race in the 2020 G1 Series? Then fill in the form now.
Want real followers? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
"20 minutes of racing is coming up here in the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020, presented by Fiverr. The Amateur Championship is about to kick off its fourth race of the season. Philip Kraus is going to be starting from pole position. Of course, he is the championship leader, and for now, my favorite of the race here today, as he looked so strong in that qualifying session. Challenging him today will be, of course, Sam Carpenter, as he's starting right beside him on the grid. And a good qualifying as well from Sheldon Scott Muscat and Luca Ferlic, who will be starting from the second row of the grid. Just a few more minutes to go in this warm-up session before we head into the race. If you like what you see here today, of course, head on over to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages, and make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. Of course, what these drivers will be fighting for here today, at least the Amateur Series drivers, what they will be fighting for today, is some great prizes provided by GT Omega Racing and Thrustmaster. Thrustmaster is providing us, or the winning driver, with a TMX Force Feedback Pro steering wheel, and GT Omega is giving a ART cockpit. So basically an entire rig is provided for the race winner of this amateur championship, and that's definitely something that I would be looking forward to receive if I won a championship. So great to have our partners on board with that. Of course, also the Pro Championship is fighting for an amazing prize as well. They are fighting for a total prize pool of €5,000. that will be coming up later in the evening. That practice session will be starting in a little bit over 40 minutes. And then the race is basically in a little bit over an hour. So make sure to stay tuned for that as well. As in this warm-up session, Phil Kraus is looking strong once again. Of course, this warm-up session is meant for the drivers to get used to the different set of conditions that qualifying and race give. Of course, qualifying, you need to push the car to the absolute limit. Try to find every tenth of a second that you can find and put that into a great lap time to put yourself in pole position. That's exactly what Phil Kraus did, of course. But the race, you also have to be a little bit more careful. You don't want to crash into other people. You don't want to crash yourself off the track. And you want to make sure that your tires are able to get to the end of the race as well, because it's still a 20-minute race. So I'm guessing there's still some tire conservation to be done by the drivers. Of course, the 30-minute race in the Pro Championship will be even more difficult for those drivers, but we expect that from them, of course, being the pros. Now, about 30 seconds to go before we head into the race session here. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we are looking at Nathan Mifsud lapping the beautiful Zandvoort track once again. For those who have missed the qualifying session before, of course, the newly renovated 2020 Zandvoort track with basically two corners that have been modified. The last corner, of course, the Arie Luijendijk bocht and the Hugenotz bocht have been given quite a bit of camber. As Nathan Mifsud is definitely pushing the car to the limits at the moment. She was drifting through turn 9 there just a bit ago. But I think those modifications here at this new 2020 Zandvoort here are going to give us a bit more exciting racing. It will allow, the last corner will allow the drivers to just have a little bit more speed through the final corner and perhaps make an overtake happen down that start-finish straight into the Tarzan bocht. But now it is time for these drivers to go racing here, as they will get themselves onto their grid slots for the first race of the evening here for the amateur series of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020, presented by Fiverr. Phil Kraus will be starting from that pole position as the formation lap is on the way. I'll take you throughout the rest of this grid as well. So, of course, Kraus starting from that pole position, championship leader. I think he's in the best spot and looking very promising to win this race. Sam Carpenter, he will trying to match, and I'm guessing also outmatch the pace of Philip Kraus today in the race. But so far, he's been having some difficulties. So let's see how he will get through this 20-minute race in just a bit. Sheldon Scott Muscat, great qualifying for him, starting on the second row of the grid in P3 so far. He's been able to finish 8th in the previous race at Imola, and not a great result for him in the previous two races before that, but perhaps he will be able to make a difference here today and get a podium, perhaps even second place or even a win. We'll have to wait and see for that. Luca Felix, P4. He's, of course, third in the championship. Looking to get another good result on his belt. Pierre-André Previdi in 5th. Then Raimo Okas in 6th. Kirsten Ebier starting from 7th place. Then Andrea Dalla Valle in 8th place. Nathan Mifsud will be starting from 9th position. Stoyan Barbekov, I think a bit of a disappointing qualifying session for him, starting down in 10th position. At the moment he's 5th in the championship. He was able to finish 4th in the first race. But since then hasn't really been able to finish inside of the top 5. So let's see if he can find back some positions in this race. Of course, it's not the longest race, only 20 minutes. So he's going to have to start making up places pretty early on in the race. Liam Rounds starting from 11th. Liam Mangan in 12th. Alessandro Verni in P13. Filippo Caneo in 14th place. Alan Smith 15th. Rafaela Morga in 16th. And he will be closing up the grid. He will be carrying the red lantern for now as they head into their grid slots, all making sure the tires are warmed up, their brakes are warmed up, and their reflections are on point to get the best start possible here in Zandvoort. Phil Kraus on pole position as we see the lights come on. We have 5 of them and we are racing here for round 4 of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020 presented by Fiverr. It's been a good start by Phil Kraus. Sam Carpenter not able to get next to him in turn 1. A little bit further down, it's battling between Kirsten Ebier and Andrea Dalla Valle, and also Raimo Okas dropping down the field already a little bit. Stojan Barbekov has been able to find a position as there's a spin with Nathan Mifsud in the back coming into the Hugenotsbocht. It's about 4 drivers involved, 5 drivers involved in that incident. They will be getting back to the pit lane, I guess, to get a new front wing for those that have lost it. Phil Kraus already trying to pull out the gap to Sam Carpenter now in this first lap. Andrea Dalla Valle making a move on Kirsten Ebier there, putting himself into P5. Kirsten went wide in the Mastersbocht there, also a bit further down. Raimo Okas trying to keep Liam Rance behind him, but struggling a little bit with the grip on the tires. Barbekov already up to 8th position after half of this first lap done. Raimo Okas is trying to find a way around him. Oh, Barbekov hits Muscat there into the corner. Ooh, and also a bit of contact between him and Liam Rance, dropping Barbekov now all the way down to P11 after this first lap. Now, first time over start finish at full speed. Let's see if that last corner can give any advantage. Andrea Dalla Valle is looking to make a move into turn 1. Ooh, late braking for Fairleach. Hooking up the inside tire a little bit, but keeping Valle behind him for now. Kirsten Ebier is now also closing into those 2 drivers in front of him. And the first drivers that lost their front wings coming into the pit lane to get a new one. But I think in this relatively short 20-minute race, they won't be content points. Or at least any good positions anymore. Ooh, Sam Carpenter went quite wide there out of Schijfvlak. Losing quite a lot of time again to Philip Kraus. Kraus already almost with a 2-second lead after this first lap. Carpenter really looking to struggle here today. Not on pace with Philip Kraus. The question is though, will Previdi be able to challenge Carpenter for that 2nd place here on the back straight? He's closing in, coming into the Hans Ernst bocht. If he gets a good run out of these final 2 corners, he might be able to use the slipstream of Sam Carpenter's car and make a move into the first corner. Seems that there has been a pretty good exit there for Previdi. Carpenter needs to be careful coming into turn 1. This straight isn't too long though, so Previdi I think is a bit too far back for now. As race control has just given a 20-second stop go for Liam Rounds for the incident between Rounds and Nathan Mifsud on that first lap. So Liam Rounds will be dropping down after that penalty even more. Previdi is now really starting to close up to Carpenter though. Coming into Schijfvlak. Dirty air will be starting to play a little bit of a role on the front wing of Previdi's car there. However, you can really see that Previdi has got the advantage on pace here. Carpenter really starting to drop back. That gap between Kraus and Carpenter right now is almost 3 seconds. It's over 3 seconds already now. Previdi is smelling blood here. And he's looking to take advantage of it as soon as possible. Again, close on the exit here of the Hans Ernst bocht. Now the final corner once again is going to be important for Previdi. Also for Carpenter if he wants to keep him behind him. Also a penalty for Stoyan Barbakov. 10 seconds stop go for the incident between him and Sheldon Scott Muscat that we saw now. However, Previdi is going around the outside of the Tarzan bocht. Is that going to work? Late braking for both of them. But Previdi is not able to make that stick. Just not enough momentum on the outside of that corner. Now coming into the Huguenots bocht once again. See if he takes a little bit of a different line. Ooh, Carpenter, a bit of a drift there. That's not going to help his exit speed. Previdi really launches himself out of that corner. Closing in rapidly now. Surely side by side through Schijfvlak is not going to work. Previdi, backs out of that move. Only at the last possible time, but Carpenter really struggling at the moment with his car. And Previdi looking strong to get this second position if he can get past Carpenter now. Luca Verlich also has been able to catch up to the back of these two drivers. He might be able to take advantage of any opportunities that present themselves. This part is once again where most time will be gained by Previdi. Carpenter a bit better exit this time around though. So perhaps he's able to keep Previdi behind him for now. Runs a little bit wide there out of the second to last corner. Through the final corner once again, Previdi will have that slipstream. Coming over start finish, Previdi trying to find a bit of a fake maneuver there on the inside. Tries to go around the outside again, but Carpenter defending it harshly. Just leaving the bare minimum of space. Trying to make sure Previdi stays behind him. Really close, however, now coming through the Huguenots bocht. Ooh, Previdi goes a little bit wide onto the grass there. Again, Verlich is staying behind these drivers for now. I think he's taking it a bit careful, just letting these drivers in front of him battle it out. And if they make any mistakes, he will be there to capitalize on that. However, during this battling, Kraus has been able to really make his lead bigger and bigger. 6 seconds now almost between him and Sam Carpenter. As Carpenter once again will be having to defend from Previdi. Also Andrea Della Valle is caught up to the back of Luca Verlich now. Valle looking around the outside of Hans Ernst bocht. No. Backs out of that move for now. He'll be getting a good exit here. Really close coming into Kumo. And then the Adi Luijendijk bocht. Ooh, as Valle goes a little bit onto the gravel there. That's not going to help his exit out of the final corner. I think Previdi is a bit too far back this time to make an attack on Carpenter. But Valle is going to make a move on Verlich here. Around the outside coming into turn one. Late braking for both of them. Side by side. Ooh, they make a bit of contact there. Verlich stays in front for now. But Valle is definitely looking to get past Verlich. As Verlich is also now dropped back a little bit further from Previdi. This battle for basically the podium paying positions. Top 5 of this race as we've already gone through the first 6 laps. Kraus very comfortably in the lead as Previdi is closing that gap to Carpenter once again. Coming up to turn 10. Very close to the rear of that Griiip G1 car. Carpenter needs to find a way to keep him behind him. He's been doing well so far. But of course any small mistake and Previdi will be able to get past him. Again, very close on the exit here of the Hans Ernst bocht. Kumo Once again, Carpenter runs a little bit wider than Pravidi. Pravidi really close this time around. I think this is going to be the move. Around the outside once again. He doesn't really have much overspeed. Carpenter once again trying to squeeze him a little bit to the outside. Late braking for Pravidi. Is it going to be enough side by side on the exit of Tarzan Bocht? The next corner is going to be for the inside for Carpenter. Carpenter trying to keep alongside there, but no, it's not possible. Pravidi runs a bit wide there though. Has to compromise this line through Hugenholtz now. Carpenter trying to fight his way back. You have the slipstream here coming up to Schijfvlak. Will it be enough though to make a move? Luca Verlic and Andrea Dalla Valle have also now switched positions. Valle able to get past Verlic. And now Valle will be trying to focus his efforts on Carpenter. At least if he can keep up the pace compared to Luca Verlic. Already a bit of a gap has formed now between Carpenter and Pravidi. I think the pace of Carpenter really lacking today. And Valle, I think, will be on the back of Carpenter's car in the next lap or two, as we are around halfway of this 20-minute race. 10 minutes to go, and Philip Kraus is leading with a margin of over 7 seconds to Pravidi in second, then Sam Carpenter third. But for how long will that be, as Valle is starting to go on to the attack? Luca Verlic also will be starting to try and keep with his top 4, but I think it's going to be difficult for him. Raimo Okas at the moment in P6, with Kirsten Ebier starting to close him down in 7th. Liam Mangan has a bit of a gap, and Nathan Mifsud, same for him. Of course, Liam Brands had that penalty, and Rafaela Morga, after the incident in the first lap, is also quite far down the top 10. Separated by about 24 seconds at the moment. Now Andrea Dalla Valle starting to chase down Sam Carpenter. Carpenter locking up there, coming into turn 9. A good exit there from Valle. If he keeps this close throughout the next couple of corners, he'll probably be able to make a move into turn 1. If he gets the slipstream. Good exit there for Valle. Final corner going to be important. I think Carpenter had a little bit better exit there, but is it going to be enough? He doesn't have slipstream from Pravidi in front of him, but I think Valle, yeah, he's too far back, not closing in rapidly enough to make any moves as they go a little bit deep into the Tarzan bocht there. That allows the back to close in once again. Carpenter, Valle, Verlic very close to each other as Valle tries to go up the inside a little bit there. Loses a bit of exit speed. That's going to allow Verlic to close in once again. Really close there on the exit of the Masters bocht. Ooh, Valle goes a little bit deep. Different line to Carpenter. So there's 8 minutes to go in this race. Again, a good exit from Valle here out of turn 10. Coming into the Hans Ernst bocht. Will the exit of Carpenter be enough to keep Valle behind this time around? Really close there on the exit already. You can keep this up through this final 2 corners. Ooh, Valle touches the inside curb there a little bit too much. Loses quite a bit of exit speed. Verlic is now starting to close in. Will he be able to make a move with his overspeed? He's got the slipstream. He's closing in. He's closing in. Valle defending the inside there. Verlic around the outside. Late braking. Is that going to be enough? No. Goes wide. Loses the momentum of the corner. Tries to make a switchback work now on the inside. Coming to the Hugenholtz bocht. Ooh, a bit of contact is made. Wheel banging there. Verlic now around the outside of the Hugenholtz bocht. able to make that move stick. Question is though, will the stewards have a look at that bit of contact that they had coming into the corner? Valle will now be having the slipstream, of course, once again. The gap to Carpenter has been extended now, so the slipstream won't be as much as a factor for Perlic, as Pravidi has already extended the gap between him and Carpenter to about 3.5 seconds now. Very close once again. Valle to the exit, to the rear of Perlic, but he goes a bit wide on the exit there onto the gravel even. Not going to help him. Barbakov DNFs for this race. Valle around the outside there. Great exit by him out of the Hans Ernst bocht into Kumo. This is going to be the place where you want to get his best of an exit, but also Raimo Okas is now coming into this battle in P6. He'll be trying to take the slipstream of Valle. Valle is also taking the slipstream of Perlic. Is this going to be a double overtake for Okas? No, I think he's just not got the overspeed, but perhaps Verlic is going to lose 2 positions. Verlic goes a little bit deep. Okas takes a bit of a more inside line through Tarzan there. Trying to find his way around Verlic. Ooh, Valle almost loses the car there, coming through the Hugenholz. Again, very close. Great battle between these 3 drivers for P4 in this race. It's about 5 minutes to go. Still Philip Kraus absolutely dominating so far. Almost 8 seconds the gap between him and Pravidi at the moment. As Verlic once again is very close to the back of Andrea Dalla Valle. Closing in once again, coming to the Hans Ernst bocht. Good exit for Valle this time around. I think Verlic is a little bit too far back to make a slipstream move work. And the same goes for Raimo Okas. Kirsten Ebier in 7th is trying to catch up to this group a little bit, but pace is a bit too slow to really make that work. Very close once again, coming into Tarzan, but Verlic a bit too far back to make any move stick. He's once again really close coming through here though. Valle is drifting the car around through Hugenholz. Verlic has got a good exit. He's got the slipstream. Might be able to make a move stick here coming into Schijfvlak. Just looking on the outside. Surely that's not going to work. Ooh, Okas went wide there in turn 9 onto the grass even a little bit. That's going to lose him the connection to Verlic now. I think Valle is trying to extend that gap to Verlic a bit more, but of course these drivers have been making little mistakes, which allows their counterparts to keep getting back at them, keep battling with them. Carpenter, of course, with this battle has been able to really make a bit of a gap, perhaps even though he doesn't really have the same pace as these drivers behind him. Because they are battling, it allows him to create that gap, as there is now about 2 minutes to go. So I'm guessing there is 2, maybe 3 laps to go. Verlic still close, once again through Hugenholz. That's where he really gains quite a lot of time compared to Andrea Dalla Valle. Okas also still sticking with them. Ooh, Verlic goes a little bit wide in turn 10 there. Okas almost diving for the gap. But he's really close and will have the slipstream now coming down the back straight. Into the Hans Ernst bocht they come. Bit of a lock-up, quite a big lock-up there for Okas on the inside tire, but didn't lose much time because of it. Now out of the final corner once again. I think he's a bit too far back to make a slipstream move work. The question is now, will Andrea Dalla Valle be able to catch up to Carpenter? I think the gap between him and Carpenter right now is about 2 seconds. Carpenter needs to watch out. There is, I believe, only 1 lap to go. Kraus. It's difficult to say. I think this will be the final lap. Of course, when the timer hits 0, that is when the final lap, or when the race will be flagged. Okas once again close to Verlich. Verlich once again close to Valle, but who is going to be on top here as the timer hits 0? So we'll be finishing the race this lap. So any attempts to be made for final positions need to be done right now. Okas very close to Verlich, but is it going to be enough, as we also wait for Kraus to come out of the final corner to take his victory once again. Here we see Kraus coming over the line. 4 out of 4 for Philip Kraus. Great achievement once again by the American driver. Finishing almost 10 seconds in front of Previdi. Sam Carpenter still able to finish in 3rd. After perhaps having a bit of a pace disadvantage. Andrea Dalla Valle not able to catch up quickly enough to Carpenter. He finishes in 4th, and Verlich able to fend off Okas for long enough to take 5th, and Okas has to take 6th. Then Kirsten Abier 7th, Leon Mangan 8th, Nathan Mifsud finishes in 9th. Sheldon Scott Muscat, after the incident in the first couple of laps, 10th. Raffaello Morga will be finishing in 11th, and Alan Smith, 1 lap down, finishes in 12th position. Now we will be getting some interviews in with the top 3 drivers here. So Philip Kraus, Pierre-André Previdi and Sam Carpenter will be telling their thoughts about their race here today. Of course, with this victory, Philip Kraus will be extending his race, or his championship lead, to quick calculation 140 points, and really setting his marks on this championship. And I think it's going to be very difficult for him to lose the championship in the last 2 rounds coming up. As we now wait for the driver interviews to get going, I think we need to get the drivers into the commentator box, as I believe we have with us now Sam Carpenter. Let's start off with 3rd place. Sam, how was your race today?
Not nice at all. I was pretty close in quali. I knew Phil had the advantage, and I didn't honestly expect to be challenging him today, and I didn't. But when we got into the race, I don't know, I was just much slower than I expected, and even had trouble with the guys behind, and eventually couldn't even get 2nd. So, yeah, there was something about that setup on heavy fuel, although I know that a lot of people were running very similar setups to me and weren't actually getting that problem. But yeah, the car just felt terrible in the first few laps, and I wasn't able to get it back at the end, even though I had a little bit of pace over Pierre.
Yeah, we saw also in qualifying, your first few laps were perhaps a little bit off pace, but then in the end you were able to set that time that put you on the front row at least. Were you already struggling there, or did it only really start in the race where you started to struggle?
No, I didn't really have any worries in quali, although I had a bit of a problem at the start of the session where my accelerator pedal face fell off, so I was a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, it was just getting back into the rhythm and everything, redoing my driving position. So by the end of the session, I was fine.
Yeah, I think also the the battle of the drivers behind you might have helped you a little bit in at least getting that third position. 2 races to go in this championship, of course. Sukida Zur coming up next. Do you think you will be able to challenge Phil Kraus there?
Well, I like the place, but I think he does as well. You can't. You have no idea what's going to happen on that track, really, do you? So, just gonna have to wait and see.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us, and congrats on getting that podium, 3rd place.
Thanks.
So then let's go to 2nd place finisher, Pierre-André Previdi. Great race by you, Pierre. I think you'll be happy with that 2nd position.
Yeah, a lot, because I started only 5th place with a terrible qualifying, but then my engineer made a very good setup for the race, so I could start very, very quick and then have a good pace all the race. Want to thank David Gentili for the setup, and it was a very good race for me.
Yeah, definitely great job. And do you think it took you a few laps, of course, to get past Sam? Do you think that if you got past him, or if you started on the front row next to Phil, or if you got past Sam earlier in the race, that you might have been able to challenge Phil for the race win here today?
I don't think so, but my race pace was very similar of him, but my straight speed wasn't good enough. I had a lot of trouble to pass the other guy, but I don't think I can. Philip is he's just on another level. He's just faster. Great.
Yeah, and looking forward to Circuit d'Azur, the next round, of course, next week. Do you think you might be able to challenge him there?
I don't know. The Monaco is a very challenging track. It's the opposite of this one, so maybe we can do something, but I don't know.
All right. Thanks for talking to us, and congrats on getting that 2nd place here today. And good luck in the next race, of course.
Thank you. Good luck.
And then coming to, of course, our race victor and championship leader, Philip Kraus. Once again, big congratulations. Happy with the win today?
Yeah. It came a lot easier than I expected, not to be rude to the other people, but I was expecting Sam to be a lot closer, but in the race, he just didn't really have the pace that he had in quali. I don't know what happened, but we were running pretty similar setups, so I think he might just have not been able to deal with the car on high fuel, and I got lucky when he was having the bad pace because it held up all the cars behind and let me build a gap, and I didn't really have to worry about anything for the rest of the race after I saw I had like a 6-second gap over 2nd place.
Yeah, I guess you were at that moment just trying to manage the gap, not pushing the car too hard and make any mistakes.
Yeah, not really. I was just sort of riding around. I made a few mistakes because I misjudged a few corners because I was sort of losing my focus in the last 2 or 3 laps, but nothing that cost me enough time to like put the win under thread or anything.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of your driving style. Perhaps it would be a bit different setup, but compared to some other drivers, you seem to be a bit more consistent, a bit more smooth on the car. Some people were really throwing the car into corners. And from what I could see, was that you were a little bit more, I would say, sluggish with the car and a bit more smooth with your inputs. Is that just me having a bit of a different view, or is that how you like to drive this car a little bit more, and perhaps also why you're a bit quicker than the rest?
Okay, it's weird to hear that because usually I'm the exact opposite. Usually I am really aggressive on the steering wheel, but in this car, I definitely have toned that back a little bit because the rear end of this car is really unpredictable, and some slides you just can't catch or you lose way too much time when you're sliding. Like, you can slide a little bit and gain time, but if you slide too much, it's just, you lose way too much time to make it worth it. So it's like riding that fine line, and I found it was easier to ride that line if you were being a lot more smooth with your inputs, because if you were sort of chucking it in, it made the rear end a lot more less predictable.
Right. Well, looking forward to Azure, are you?
It's not been a great track for me, but I enjoy hot lapping it. I know Sam's really good there. He's probably better than I am, so we'll have to see how it goes. But probably not gonna do anything too risky. Just try to preserve the points lead I have already.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us, and congrats on the win once again, as we will be getting ready for the Pro Championship that will be starting. First, however, we'll be going for a break, but stay tuned because we will go racing once again after this.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Want to quit your day job? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
This is bad. Wait, let's just do it ourselves.
It is not fear that grips him, only restlessness, a heightened sense of things. The smell of engine and sweat, the engine rattling his blood, the crowd roaring. The race is about to start. He breathes deeply to focus. In this league, he finally found what he was looking for. A true passion.
Sono Massimo Paganini e per anni ho cercato una macchina che mi desse gioia, adrenalina nella guida e finalmente l'ho trovata nella G1 Series. Se anche tu vuoi provare una macchina che ti dia gioia e adrenalina, G1 Series 2020.
So, you think you got what it takes to race in the G1 Series? Can you keep your concentration? Even in the most stressed situations, can you keep pushing even when things go wrong? Can you master different environments? Can you adapt immediately to different conditions? Can you keep learning? Learning from your opponents, learning from your mistakes, learning from everyone, anytime, anywhere, until you reach your goal and become the best you can. Think you got what it takes to race in the 2020 G1 Series? Then fill in the form now.
Want real followers? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 4 of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020, presented by Fiverr here at World Pro Racing. It's time for the pros to show us how it's done. We've seen an amazing amateur race won by Philip Kraus just a few moments ago, but now it is time for the likes of Jone Simoncic, Erhan Jajoski, Risto Capet, Petar Brojak to show us how it is really done here around this 2020 Zandvoort. I'm really looking forward to this, to the second race of the day. I think with these pros, we're definitely going to see some great battling and great racing. Of course, first we're going to head into a practice session, and after that a 10-minute qualifying session and a 30-minute race instead of 20 minutes, which we've had in the Amateurs Championship. So it's a little bit longer, a little bit more intensive for these pros, but I'm sure that they are well prepared for it. Of course, these drivers are not fighting for nothing. They're fighting for a great prize pool provided by our great partners of 5,000 euros. P1 will be getting 2,500 euros. P2 gets 1,000 euros. P3 750 euros. P4 400. P5 200. P6 100, and P7 gets 50 euros. Of course, that's championship standings. Let's have a look at those standings. Of course, Erhan Jajoski has been really strong so far throughout this season. He was able to get a win in Imola and Silverstone. His teammate Risto Capet was able to take victory in the first race of the season, and had to take second in the last race and 5th in Silverstone. So he's almost 20. He is 20 points down in the championship at the moment to Jajoski. So I think Capet will be hoping to get himself up on top of the timing sheets here today, and perhaps get victory at the end of the day to close in that gap. But of course, the other drivers on track won't be making that easy. Jone Simoncic was able to finish second in Silverstone. I think he's definitely one of the best drivers on the grid here today, so he'll be looking to challenge for the win here as well. Of course, this 2020 Zandvoort track, we've seen it in the Amateur Series, gives us a little bit different racing than what we're used to at Zandvoort. With the final corner being banked, the drivers will be able to take a little bit more speed through the corners, as you're having a little bit of a look with Mitchie Hoyer as he takes a lap here around the practice session of this Zandvoort track. Of course, Hoyer driving for the Burst Esports team. Let's see if he is able to set a good lap time here in practice. So far hasn't set a lap time yet. So far at the moment, Jara Jajowski is on a personal best, but Michi Hori is coming into turn 1 or across the start-finish line to start his lap and, to finish his lap, and he sets a 1 minute 26.073, already quite a bit quicker than what the amateur drivers have been able to do so far. The qualifying pole position time, if I'm not mistaken, was a 126.4. Right now, Eran Jajowski already putting down a 124.3. That's over 2 seconds quicker than what Philip Kraus was able to do in qualifying. Jurnej Simoncic is also close to them in second. Capet at the moment in third. Jordan in fourth. Siebel in fifth. Bojak in sixth. All very close to each other. Top 7 separated at the moment between them is around a second, as Jason Muscat puts in a nice time as well. But quickest driver on track, Jajowski, and also championship leader, looking strong in practice. Of course, like I mentioned before, 10 minutes of qualifying is coming up after this. Make sure to not miss any of the racing after that, of course, as well, as we will dive into a 30-minute race. But of course, don't miss any of the other racing going on here at World Pro Racing. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, like our Twitter page, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, and also head on over to the social media pages of our partners, Fiverr, Griiip, Thrustmaster, and GT Omega. They are, of course, the ones that make it possible here to get some great prizes for these drivers in the championship. Jurnej Simoncic is coming across start-finish to set another lap. Let's see what he will be able to do. This is his out lap, so he's coming into turn 1 to start his next hot lap, braking around the 50-meter board, trying to control that drift. We heard Philip Kraus say in the interview after his amateur race just a few moments ago that this car is quite loose on the rear, but if you can control that slide, you can gain quite a bit of time, as you saw there. Jurnej Simoncic really taking advantage of the banking there in the Hugenotsbocht, taking an extremely wide line, not even getting close to the inside apex, and perhaps gaining quite a bit of time by doing so. Drew Schijflak coming into the Mastersbocht. You can see he's just doing small corrections on the steering wheel all the time, trying to make sure you don't slide the rear of that car too much, but having just a little bit to try and get the car to rotate as much as you want it to. Now the back straight, coming into the Hans Ernstbocht, braking hard, over the curb hard, trying to stick to the inside here, get a good exit. He takes all this speed with you, of course. Bit of a lift coming through Kumo, then full throttle, taking all that exit curb there into the final banked corner, the Adi Luijendijk bocht. And over start finish to set a lap time. What is it going to be for Jurnej Simoncic? 124.555. That's about 2/10 of what his previous best was. So he'll be, the moment he's about 2/10 of Dennis Jordan, who's been able to set a great lap time here in practice. 124.198. Petar Bojak also for the Williams Esport team putting in a 124.2, very close to each other now. As we take a look on board with Eran Jajowski, as he is coming through the lap. There just came through the Mastersbocht now. Turn 9 and turn 10 coming up. These are the corners where you really need to try and control that rear of the car without actually losing it. You can see him struggling with the wheel through the corners there. Or stop speed is also going to be important if you want to overtake people. Braking into the Hans Ernstbocht. Exit is important here, taking all the curb on the outside. You can see how focused he is. As we are at the end of the practice session now, and we'll be heading into 10 minutes of qualifying. Of course, all the drivers will have as many laps as they can do in that 10-minute time period. So everybody wants to be on track as soon as possible. As you can already see, the pit lane crowding up with drivers. Everybody wants to set their lap time as soon as possible. 22 drivers on the grid here today. Let's see who will come out on top in qualifying as the light goes to green in the pit lane and drivers flow out onto the track. Fastest in practice was Dennis Jordan. Let's see if he can keep up that form throughout this qualifying session, or if championship leader Aaron Jajowski and runner-up at the moment, Risto Kappet, will be able to get onto that front row once again. Everybody trying to find their bearings on the track now. Of course, you want to have a bit of a gap to the drivers in front of you. So that you don't have too much dirty air for the car in front of you. Of course, slipstream can help you also a little bit, but in the corners that's going to hurt you. And there's quite a few of those corners here in Zandvoort. Now, first few drivers will be coming to the line to start their first hot lap. Alessandro Ottaviani is one of them. He's warming his tires at the moment, trying to get them to optimum temperature to start the lap. I think Petter Boljak is one of the first to actually start his flying laps as he comes out of the final corner. Braking at the 50-meter board, having a little bit of a slide into turn 1, but controlling it very nicely there. Coming up to the Hugenotbos, let's see what his line is. He takes the inside line, contrary to Jone Simocic, what we saw there a little bit earlier in practice. Takes all of the exit curve, of course. As in front of him is Alexander Dorniden. I think he's far enough away to not hinder Petter Boljak's lap time. To Schijvelak lifting a little bit, but trying to keep as much power as possible. Ooh, a little bit of a slide there on the exit. Into the Masters, but very controlled through there. Car looking stable. Turn 9. Again, trying to control that drift. Just having a little bit, but not too much. Stays off the inside apex there through turn 10. Outside, of course, take as much as you can. Take the speed through the back straight. Braking hard for Hans Ernst now. Taking the inside curb on both occasions, right side and left side, and on the outside curb as well. Final 2 corners coming up. Petter Boljak looking strong in the second sector so far. Let's see what it's going to be in this final sector. Out of the final corner he comes. And what lap time will it be for the Croatian driver across the finish line? He comes 1:24.560. A little bit off what the fastest lap time was in practice, but of course it's still the first banker lap for him. Jonas Simocic improves on that with a 1:24.4. Michi Hoyer is right behind it with a 1:24.6. Risto Kappet, 1:24.890 for him. Luca D'Amelio at the moment in 6th with a 1:25.8. Let's see Dennis Jordan across the line with a 1:24.5, putting himself in 2nd place for now, behind Jone Simocic. Also interesting to see some drivers choose to stay out to do 2 laps in a row, and some other drivers like Jone Simocic, they do only 1 attempt and then go back into the pit lane, get a fresh set of tires and go back out. First 4 minutes of the qualifying session done now, and it is Jone Simocic on top at the moment. Aaron Jajowski hasn't been able to set a lap time yet, but he is looking to do so as soon as possible. He's right now on an outlap, so I'm guessing his first attempt was somehow hindered. Alex Siebel puts himself in P5 at the 1:24.8 at the moment. Capet is coming to do his second lap in a row. Let's see what that is going to be. Last time around he did it 124.8. He's improving in sector 2. Let's see what it is in the final sector as he comes across the line. It is an improvement, 124.761, and puts himself up to 5th in front of Alex Siebel for now. Aaron Jajowski will be starting his lap now. He's already through the Hugenholzbocht, coming through Rob Slotemaker and into the Schijfvlak. Very fast through there goes Aaron Jajowski. And also the Mastersbocht keeps the car stable through there. A lot of corrections there coming into turn number 9. A couple of cars in front of him. Let's hope they stay clear of Jajowski. Very nice line there through turn 10. I think he could have gained quite a bit of time there. Jajowski's first sector was pretty good, personal best. Second sector, also pretty good for Jajowski, 21.5 through there. Let's see what he's able to do in this final sector. I think Jajowski is definitely going to be able to put himself in the top 5 over the qualifying at the moment. There is about 4 minutes to go after this. Coming out of the final corner. Across the line, Jajowski comes with a 124.335, putting himself on provisional pole position with a gap of 900ths of a second to Jone Simoncic. Great performance so far by Jajowski. And the drivers behind him will try to find the tenths of seconds that's needed right now to beat Jajowski. On the lap, Jone Simoncic, he's coming around the final 2 corners. Server best first sector. Second sector is about a 10th slower than what Jajowski was able to do. He takes a very narrow line out of the final corner. Shortest distance across the line. Simoncic goes and he goes faster than Jajowski. 124.3 dead. And 35 thousandths quicker than what Jajowski was able to do. Michi Hoyer improves himself as well. Up to P3 he goes. Peter Bojak is struggling a little bit with traffic. Janice Jordan is on a improvement as well. Very quick through the first sector. Personal best in the second sector. Let's see what his final sector is going to be for Jordan. He goes very wide out of the second to last corner. And I don't think that's going to help in coming across start finish to set his lap time. Not an improvement for Jordan indeed. So he'll do another lap to try again. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock here in qualifying. Christoph Capet in 7th place. He's looking to finish his lap in a second. He's got a bit of traffic in though. As he comes through the second to last corner. Very wide there. Across the gravel into the wall. Rolls the car around. That's definitely not going to be an improvement for him. Jajowski went across the line that just a little bit ago, but not an improvement for him. So it's just under 2 minutes to go. Final attempts coming up for most of these drivers now. Dennis Jordan looking okay in the first sector as he comes to the second sector marker. Not an improvement there, so I don't think Jordan is going to improve on his lap time. Perhaps if his final sector is really a big improvement to what he did before. Looking more stable through there than he did last time around. Out of the final corner, taking the short line to the start finish. And there we go, improvement for Jordan up to P5. It is so incredibly close throughout this field. The whole top 8 separated by 1 second at the moment. Simoncic on a hot lap once again as he comes through the Hugenholzbocht. Very quickly, he's still taking that different line through that corner. Very interesting to see. And perhaps that's giving him the edge here. You can see how close it is between him, Jajowski, and Hoyer, and also Siebel. Well, I could say pretty much the entire top 6 is very close to him. So perhaps that is just giving him the little advantage that he needs to take pole position here today. First sector wasn't an improvement on his personal end, but still a very strong first sector compared to the other drivers. Let's see what the second sector is going to be for Simoncic. 20 seconds on the clock now, so drivers that want to do another lap need to finish the start, needs to cross the start-finish line soon to start their final attempt. Second sector for Simoncic not great, so I think he's not going to improve on this lap time. He's also not going to make it across the line to start another lap. So final lap times coming in now. Simoncic, what is his final lap time in this qualifying session? Is a slight improvement, 292, sorry. That's about 1/100th of a second of an improvement. Aaron Jajowski is looking to improve on that, of course. Michi Hoyer was improving, but didn't set his lap after all. Alex Siebel is on an improvement in the first and second sectors. Let's see what he's going to do in the final one. Through the second to last corner, hits the inside apex a little bit, takes all the outside curb. Out of the final corner, Siebel comes. Coming to the line, what is it going to be for Alex Siebel? It is a 124.518 up to P4. No, it's not up to, it's just P4, he didn't improve. Aaron Jajowski is slightly improving in the second sector. Is it going to be enough to put himself on pole position? He only needs a small bit of time, of course. Coming across the line, Jajowski, what is it going to be for him? Not an improvement. Or it is an improvement, but not of position. He's still 1/100th of a second behind Jonas Simoncic. So incredibly close. Petar Brolic across the line. Up to P3 he goes. Just under a 10th of Jonas Simoncic now. Great lap time by him as well. Luca D'Amelio is, I think, the final driver to finish qualifying. And he is all the way down in P18. But once again, a great qualifying by Jonas Simoncic here at Zandvoort. He'll be looking to continue this form through the 30-minute race coming up. But first, we're going to head into a warm-up session of 10 minutes. And we are going to go for a small break. But when we come back, we're going to go racing for 30 minutes. So make sure to not miss any of it when we come back.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Want to quit your day job? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
This is bad. Wait, let's just do it ourselves.
is not fear that grips him, only restlessness, a heightened sense of things. The smell of engine and sweat, the engine rattling his blood, the crowd roaring. The race is about to start. He breathes deeply to focus. In this league, he finally found what he was looking for. A true passion.
Sono Massimo Paganini e per anni ho cercato una macchina che mi desse gioia, adrenalina nella guida e finalmente l'ho trovata nella G1 Series. Se anche tu vuoi provare una macchina che ti dia gioia e adrenalina, G1 Series 2020.
So, you think you got what it takes to race in the G1 Series? Can you keep your concentration? Even in the most stressed situations, can you keep pushing even when things go wrong? Can you master different environments? Can you adapt immediately to different conditions? Can you keep learning? Learning from your opponents, learning from your mistakes, learning from everyone, anytime, anywhere, until you reach your goal and become the best you can. Think you got what it takes to race in the 2020 G1 Series? Then fill in the form now.
Want real followers? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
"30 minutes of racing is coming up here at the Griiip G1 Virtual Series 2020, presented by Fiverr. Round 4 is getting underway with the Pro Championship very shortly. About 5 minutes to go in this warm-up session, and we are getting ready for that 30-minute race. For those that have missed the qualifying session before, Jurnej Simoncic is going to be starting on pole position. He had a great qualifying session, and championship leader Adam Jajowski will be starting beside him to try and once again win a race and extend his championship lead, I'm sure. Of course, winner of the championship gets a nice prize of 2,500 euros out of the total 5,000 euro prize pool. Make sure to head on over to our great partners' social media pages as well. Of course, Fiverr, Griiip, Thrustmaster, and GT Omega. And also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to not miss any of the action going on here at World Pro Racing. As we are now getting ready for that 30-minute race. Warm-up session is underway already for a few minutes. Fastest driver at the moment is Dennis Jordan, who will be starting from P6 on the grid, that qualifying session that we just had. was incredibly close. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how it is going to get in the race. We're still seeing some drivers doing different lines throughout the different corners in this track. Of course, this new layout of Zandvoort allows for that, especially at Hugenholtsbocht, where we saw Jone Simoncic and I believe also Alex Siebel really take a bit of a different line, a really wide line, taking all the banking that there is in that corner to the advantage and try to take as much speed and momentum through the corner instead of taking the inside, perhaps the shorter line, and hit the apex. So let's see if they will also do that in the race and how it will work out in the race. Of course, if there's a driver also going for that gap that appears in that corner, then perhaps you're going to lose that position. I don't know. That's up for the drivers to show us, which will be happening in just under 1.5 minutes time. Let's quickly go through the championship standings once again. Jajowski, championship leader with 100 points. Risto Kappet, he's starting down quite a bit today. P7 for Kappet in qualifying. So he's gonna have to fight back quite a few positions to get back to his championship rival Adam Jajowski. Behind them, it's Dennis Jordan in P3 with 56 points. Then current pole sitter Jone Simoncic is down in 4th. He missed the race in Imola last time around. He has got 50 points at the moment. Peter Brojak didn't have a great race first time around as he finished P10. In Silverstone, he was able to finish on the podium in 3rd and in the top 5 last time around in Imola. But perhaps we'll be able to have a better result this time around as he's starting from 3rd on the grid. Siebel, he has had a decent 2 races in the 1st and the 3rd round, but in Silverstone he DNF'd, so that's hurt him quite a lot in this championship. Of course, it's only a 6-race championship, so any points lost will make quite a big impact. Next race, of course, will also be a very exciting one. Circuit d'Azur. It's one of my favorite tracks to commentate on, I think. Always a lot of action going on there. That will happen next week, of course. First, we're going to have to get through this race at Zandvoort, which is also surely going to be a nice and exciting race. We've already seen so in the amateur race where we've seen a great battle between the drivers for P5, 6, and also P4. As the drivers will now be lining themselves up to start the formation lap. So drivers now getting themselves into their grid slots to start that formation lap. And after that formation lap, we will go racing for 30 minutes. Of course, the drivers will need to think about how much they use their tires throughout the 30 minutes. At the end of the race, tires are going to be wearing out. So if you're not careful enough, if you abuse the tires too much, you'll lose the grip at the end of the race, and perhaps your opponents will be able to get past you then. Of course, Zandvoort isn't easy to get past on. We've seen it in the amateur race as well. If you have a good top speed, you might be able to get a move done out of the final corner into the Tarzan bocht. But it's still not easy, and of course we're going to see drivers defending hard for their positions as well. So let's take you through the grid once again as Jone Simoncic comes around the formation lap. He will be starting on pole position. Next to him, championship leader Adam Jajowski. In 3rd, we've got Peter Brojak for the Williams Esport team. He's looking to get a good result here today as well. Michi Hoyer, I think a really strong qualifying for him. He didn't have the best results. He's finished 8th in every race so far this season, and looking to, I guess, at least finish in the top 5 today, and perhaps get a podium if he can gain 1 place throughout this 30-minute race. Alex Siebel is starting right behind him in 5th place. He'll be looking to get throughout the field as well. Dennis Jordan, teammate of Siebel, in 6th. Risto Capet in 7th. He is quite a bit further down than he would like, I think. All the way down in 7th, as he is 2nd in the championship standings. I think he'll definitely need to make up a lot of positions if he wants to stay in that championship fight. He's already 20 points behind Erhan Jajowski. So he needs to really find some positions and some points here today. Alexander Dorniden in 8th. Jason Muscat in 9th. Paul August Lane in 10th. Alessandro Ottaviani in 11th. Jesper Eriksson in 12th. Alon Day in 13th. Bidukov for HM Engineering in 14th. Cosimo Papi in 15th. Diego Ramos in 16th. Then Yuri Kastorp for Singularity in 17th. Luca D'Amelio for Ghost Speed in 18th. Dean Vella starting in 19th for RPM Esports. Matteo Stumpf in 20th. Manuel Biancolilla for Musto Racing in 21st. Kaka Magno in 22nd. He'll be starting from 22nd, as I say. And Gracia in 23rd. And Kaka is actually the only woman on the grid, so let's see if she'll be able to challenge these guys for some nice points. She's of course a real life Griiip driver, so perhaps not as skilled as some of these drivers are in the virtual cars, but she's definitely proven herself in the real world, as the really slow formation lap by Jurne Simoncic is almost coming to a close as they come through this Arie Luijendijk bocht, almost falling over with how slow they're going through this banked corner. Final preparations for these guys are being made now, making sure their brakes are up to temperature when they come into turn 1. Making sure the tires are also not too cold or too hot when they start the race. As Jurne Simoncic is slowly coming to his pit box. Everybody's slotting into their positions now. Everybody to get ready. Everybody getting ready to get racing here for the 4th round of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series, presented by Fiverr. Manuel Biancolilla having to slot himself up a little bit differently. I got to get past another driver, but now it is waiting for the lights to turn green. Jurne Simoncic on pole position here today as the lights come on, and we have 5 lights. We are racing, and it's been a great start for Jajowski, already shooting up past Jurne Simoncic. Simoncic really bugging down on the line, and Jajowski allowed to get into P1 already before the start of the first corner. Michi Hoyer battling side by side with Alex Siebel. Risto Capet in P6 already trying to make his way through the field. Now Michi Hoyer around the outside, taking the outside line. Alex Siebel having to be careful. Peter Briljak almost pushing Michi Hoyer off the track. Michi Hoyer had to go on the grass there. That allows Risto Capet to go past the inside there. Michi Hoyer losing another position. Dennis Jordan now looking as well to take away P6 from Michi Hoyer along the inside. That's going to be tight. Masters bocht now still side by side. Michi Hoyer and Dennis Jordan. Next corner will be the inside for Jordan. Is he going to dive? Jason Muscat almost goes around the outside there, but has to back away from that move. Now Alexander Dorniden and Jesper Eriksson also side by side. Dorniden on the inside of Jason Muscat there. Muscat able to fend him off now. Eriksson is going to take the position from Dorniden. Dorniden breaks late though on the outside of him. We'll get the inside in the next corner though. Eriksson still side by side. He has the line now through the Kumo bocht. And coming up to the Ali Leijendijk onto the start-finish straight for the first time in Erdogan. Josik already has quite a big gap. Siebel is now on the slipstream of Pero Boljak. They'll be coming into turn 1 for the second time today. Siebel looking around the outside of Boljak. That's not going to be easy. Kappet is now taking advantage of Siebel, taking a bit of a different line through that first corner. Inside is going to be for Siebel here. Kappet trying to make it work. Michiori taking the different line behind them. He's got the momentum out of the corner. We'll be trying to get past Kappet on the outside of Schijfvlak. That's not going to be happening. Michiori backs out of that move. Still very close, this battle for basically P3 in the race. All these drivers bunching up behind them. Michi Hoyer still under big pressure from Dennis Jordan behind him. Jordan has a good exit out of turn 10. We'll be trying to perhaps get past here in the Arnslandersbocht. No. He waits. If he can get a good exit out of the final corner, might be able to make a move into turn 1 as Matteo Stumpf gets a drive-through for an instant together with Manuel Biancolilla, sorry. Dennis Jordan now very close on the back of Michi Hoyer. Michi Hoyer trying to defend the inside line. Is it going to be enough though? Dennis Jordan goes up the inside. Late braking for the both of them. Jordan still has the inside and he has the position there in turn 1. Hoyer trying to get back the position perhaps here coming through the Hugenholtsbocht. Jordan takes the wide line. Hoyer also takes the wide line. So not much gained there by Hoyer by taking the different line. Alex Siebel putting massive pressure on Petr Boljak now. Petr has lost the connection with Simuncic and Jajovski as well. Jajovski is now leading with a gap of 1.5 seconds to Simuncic. All these drivers behind them though are still very, very close to each other. Let's see who's going to be making a move next time around across start finish. Everybody is still very close to each other. Petr Boljak doesn't have a slipstream from a car in front of him, so Siebel, I think if he gets a good exit out of this final corner, might be able to make a move stick, but are his wings low enough to have the top speed to get past Petr Boljak? We've seen that happen in the amateur race, that there were a few drivers with not low enough wings to really make any overtakes stick. And I think that's the case here a little bit with Alex Siebel. Boljak just has enough pace down the straight to keep Siebel behind. Keep Siebel behind him. Kappet and Jordan behind them also still putting pressure on each other. And the drivers in front of him, Michi Hoyer now also starting to lose a bit of time to the drivers in front of him. Judy Kastorp is also moving up the field, up to P11 now as he gets past Alan Day out of the Hugenholtsbocht. His next target will be Alessandro Ottaviani. He started all the way down in P17. Oh, as I say that though, he goes wide out in the Schijfvlak, spins around. That's not going to help him in any sort of way. And losing all the position that he gained so far again. Now, once again, let's see what Alex Siebel was able to do coming out of the final corner. Seems like a good exit this time around for Siebel. Boljak, however, does have the top speed. We've seen that before. Boljak goes to the inside to try and scare him off a little bit perhaps, but it's not enough. top speed for Siebel to really get past. All the drivers behind them also not really able to get past anyone. Hoyer on the back of this train as Jason Muscat is starting to catch up to them a little bit. Further down, Yuri Kastrup is now once again trying to get past people. Dennis Jordan was really close to the back of Risto Kappet coming into the schijfvlak. But Jordan not close enough to really make any moves on Kappet here. As Yuri Kastrup, I think, is out of the race. He has had an incident with somebody and he's lost his rear wheel. He will not be finishing this race today. Siebel once again out of the final corner. Sorry, not yet out of the final corner. Aligning himself to get out of the final corner to go across start finish. And once again try to get past Peter Biljak. Top speed for Siebel seems to be a bit low though. Slipstream is still a thing though. Jajowski is in the pits. I think Jajowski must have jumped to start. Jajowski must have jumped to start and had a drive-through penalty because of it. Automatically assigned by the game, and that's why he's in the pit lane right now. That promotes Jurne Simocic up into the lead of the race, and that will drop Jajowski all the way down into P13 of the race, and that is a massive loss of points for Jajowski. Would he be finishing there at the end of the race? And Kappet being in P4 would gain quite a lot of points on his championship rival. Jordan all over the back of Risto Kappet in front of him. Siebel also still very close to Peter Biljak. But Jajowski has got a major task in front of him now. He's got to fight his way through this field now. All the way down in P13. He's got Kirill Bidukov in front of him now. Let's see if he can get past him. Dennis Jordan. Close to Kappet. Kappet, a bit of a mistake as he comes out of the Harnsteersbocht. Out of the final corner, the group comes. Peter Biljak leads, of course, still. But is it going to be enough? First 8 minutes have been done, and there's still 21 to go. I think Jordan is going to go for a move around the outside of Risto Kappet of the Tarzanbocht. Braking late for the both of them, still side by side as they come into the corner. And Kappet keeps the position for now. Great defense by him. Jordan takes the wide line through Genoldsbocht again. Jordan once again closing in a lot to Kappet. Kappet has lost the connection to Siebel now. And also lost the slipstream because of that, of course. I think Jordan might have a chance once again in the next lap as they come across start-finish. Alex Siebel also still close to Biljak, but I think the guys at Williams Esport have done a great job in setting that car up with enough top speed to be able to fend off any attacks from the drivers behind them. At least so far, Biljak has been doing a great job. The gap between Simocic and Petar at the moment is just over 3 seconds. Simocic's fastest lap is quite a bit quicker than Biljak's fastest lap. Simocic is really showing that he's got the pace here today. All the drivers behind them, Siebel, Kappet, Jordan a little bit too far back to make any use of slipstream. Michi starting to lose the connection. Jason Muscat also a bit too far back to have any slipstream. Down in P9, 10 and 11. Ottaviani, Alan Day, Diego Ramos also pretty close to each other still. Kirill Bidukov is a bit further behind them there. Although let's keep our eye on this main battle at the front of the field. Peter Biljak in P2 still, but for how long? Kappet has closed the gap back up to Alex Siebel. Is he close enough though this time around? Alan Dane, P10 is going for a move on Alessandro Ottaviani, coming into the Hans Ernst bocht. Isn't able to make the move stick, but he's really close on the exit here. If he gets a good line throughout the final corner, he might be able to do something, but also Dennis Jordan is close to Risto Kappert once again. He might be able to do something this lap. Kappert going to the inside to defend. Jordan going even further to the inside to go on the attack. Kappert goes a little bit deep. It's gonna allow Jordan to get close, but not close enough for now. Day and Ottaviani also still battling at it. Ottaviani defending hard from Alan Day. And by doing so, Ramos is also really starting to close in. Jordan is looking to go up the inside of Kappert on the inside of Schijfvlak there almost. He backed out of that move though. Action going on through the entire field at the moment. Great to see, of course. Ottaviani going a bit sideways through Schijfvlak. Now Alan Day will be starting to close in even more. As they come to turn 10. Alan Day is trying and trying to find the gap past Alessandro Ottaviani. We'll have the slipstream once again on this back straight, but it's a bit too short to really make any moves. You really need to set yourself up out of the final corner, across start finish. Nobody close enough at the moment in the top 5 to make a move. Alan Day, I think, is also a bit too far back from Ottaviani. I think he also doesn't really have the top speed to fight with him. In braking though, he's closed in that gap massively. Again through the Hugenot's bocht. Alex Day sticking close with Ottaviani, but I think the top speed of Ottaviani is great enough to keep him behind him for now. Dennis Jordan and Risto Kappert going at it. Still, Kappert once again has lost the connection to Siebel a little bit now. This might allow Jordan to make the move down the start finish straight, if he is close enough, of course, out of the final corner. Alan Day once again very close to Ottaviani here on the back straight. But you can just see that the slipstream is not strong enough for Day. And he's not able to get past Ottaviani for now. And Ramos also behind him, really not able to make any moves. Michihoya now is called back up to Dennis Jordan and Risto Kappert. Let's see if Jordan is able to make the move this time around without any help from Siebel for Risto Kappert. Kappert has to do it on his own. Jordan is close, but once again not close enough. Coming into turn 1 there. Now into the Hugenot's bocht. You can see those different lines being taken by Jordan and Kappert. Means Jordan has a bit more momentum coming out of it. He might be able to set himself up for a move into Schijfvlak here. He's really close to the gearbox of Kappert. The outside line is not going to be optimal for Jordan there, and he backs out of that move. But he's definitely putting pressure on Risto Kappert here. Michihoya also still behind these guys. Perhaps also taking it a bit careful. Of course, if Jordan and Kappert have some sort of incident, which of course we don't hope which will happen, but it might. And then Michihoya wants to be there to capitalize from that mistake and opportunity. Siebel too far away from Bujak this time around. Jordan, I think, too far from Kappert. Drivers doing a great job of keeping the drivers behind them. Muscat is now starting to fall into the lap of Alexander Dorniden. And Jordan again with that different line through Hugenholtz. Slingshots himself out of the corner and trying to find a way past Mr. Kappert, but he's always just a little bit too far behind to really make any move. We're now just over halfway through this race. There's 30 minutes to go. Jone Simoncic is comfortably leading with a 3.5 second lead after Aaron Jajowski had a, I'd say, terrible start of the race. He had a great start of the race, but he jumped the start. But then he had to do a drive through, and he is now DNF'd. So Jajowski is losing a massive amount of points in this race today. He had a 20-point lead in the championship, but with Kappert at the moment driving in fourth place, perhaps able to get third if he gets past Alex Siebel. We'll be closing down that gap to maybe even 0 points or 5 points ahead of Jajowski. So Kappert really looking to take advantage of that DNF from Jajowski. Jordan now once again with the slingshot out of Hugenholtz. Outside of Rob Slotemaker into Schijfvlak. Once again, no deal for Jordan. Alexander Dorniden also right behind Jason Muscat now, but I don't think he's close enough to make any moves as of now. Hoyer, let's see what he can do this time. He's close to Jordan, a bit closer than he has been in the last few laps. But of course Jordan will have the slipstream from Kappert. He's a bit further back than he has been in the last few laps. As Alex Siebel and Peter Boljak are battling for P2. Siebel was trying to go around the outside, still is trying to go around side. Tries to do the switchback at the exit of turn 1, but is not able to make that move stick. Siebel really putting the pressure on Peter Boljak now. Jordan has lost a little bit of time to Kappert this lap. Siebel is still very close to Peter Boljak, so I think Siebel might be setting himself up for an overtake. He almost did it last lap on the start-finish straight. But will he be able to do it this lap again? To the Hans Ernst bocht they come. Kappert, Jordan and Hoyer still close to each other. I think Siebel is too far back again from Boljak to make any moves. Yeah, he surely is. Hoyer and Jordan are also too far back, so it's really a race of consistency at the moment. Any mistake will be heavily punished by the driver in front of you. So you need to be consistent. You need to be smooth on your inputs, as Philip Kraus also said during his interview after the amateur race earlier today. If you're not smooth on the inputs, the car will step out on you and you'll lose time on the exit of corners. Jordan again with the different line in the slingshot out of Hugenholtz. He was close to Kappert, but once again not able to find the gap. potentially that mistake from Jajovski at the start is a very big one in the monetary prizes sense. Of course, the winner of this championship gets 2,500 euros out of the 5,000 euro prize pool that we have thanks to our great partners, Fiverr, Thrustmaster, GT Omega, of course. Ooh, this time around Dennis Jordan is getting past the back marker that is allowing Capet to perhaps have a bit more slipstream into turn 1, create a bit more of a gap. But what I was saying, potentially that mistake, that jump start from Jajowski and DNF resulting will cost him potentially 1,500 euros, and that's quite a costly mistake as Gracia is out of this race with a missing front wheel in the Hugenholtsbocht. He'll not be finishing this race as well. Siebel is closer to Briljak this time, coming through turn 10. Perhaps Briljak is starting to struggle with his tires. Siebel closing in down this back straight. Same goes for Jordan, but he's a little bit further back to Capet. Siebel needs to get a good run out of the final 2 corners. There's 7 minutes on the clock. So not a lot of laps to go. The opportunities are getting slimmer as they get further through this race. Jordan too far back from Capet, Siebel too far back from Briljak. Alexander Dorniden, P8 also too far back from Jason Muscat. Michiorio is also still trying to stay with Dennis Jordan and Risto Capet, but really struggling to do so. Jordan, once again, we've seen it throughout the entire race, getting a really great run out of the Hugenholtsbocht. But it's not enough. It is not enough to make a move on Risto Capet into het schijfvlak. Battle for P8 starting to heat up now as Alexander Dorniden is really close to Jason Muscat through turn 10. If he gets a good exit, he might be able to make a move coming across start finish. He needs to be close though out of the final few corners. He is really close to the rear wing of that Griiip G1 car. Or specially made here for this series. Ooh. Siebel, Capet is under attack now from Jordan coming into turn 1. Jordan goes a bit wide there. Loses quite a lot of time. Michi Hoyer now will try to capitalize on that mistake. I think Jordan was lucky to not run into the gravel there. Zandvoort is definitely not forgiving in that regard. Capet really lost the connection to Siebel and Peter Briljak now. The gap between them is now over 2.5 seconds. Siebel is close again to Briljak, but I don't think he is close enough. Couple of final corners. It's coming up now. This is where Siebel needs to be strong. We've seen this throughout the entire race. Top speed of the Williams eSports car of Peter Briljak is so great that Siebel is really not able to make any move stick unless he is very close to the rear of Briljak coming out of the final corner. And same story this time around. Just too far back. Not enough top speed. Michi Hoyer not close enough to Jordan, and Jordan not close enough to Capet to make any moves this time around. As the time ticks down, the clock runs down with now 3.5 minutes to go. So I'm guessing there's about 3 laps to go. But we're gonna have to wait and see how that unfolds. Of course, it all depends on when the timer hits 0. When the timer hits 0 and Simoncic crosses the line, that is the finish. Of course, Simoncic still driving a great race, of course. Even though it's a bit lonely, nobody to battle and nobody to defend from. But still, it's very difficult, believe me, to stay consistent, to stay focused. Philip Kraus told us in his interview as well after the amateur race that it's sometimes a bit difficult to stay focused if you're alone in the race. You don't really have much to focus on. But of course, Simoncic is a very experienced driver, and I'm sure he'll be looking to get the win here. Siebel is closer this time around on Petr Brojak, coming down, start finish. Siebel's closing down. Where is he going to go? Around the outside, braking very late. Again, goes very deep and loses the connection to Petr Brojak because of that. There's only a few laps to go now until the checkered flag. Last attempts need to be made to gain positions. Dennis Jordan is really close to Risto Capet. Once again coming out of the Hugenottsbocht, but once again Capet is able to keep him behind. It only takes one small mistake though from Capet or from Brojak in that sense to allow the driver behind them to get past. So let's see if they are able to do that for a final time, because I think we are entering the final lap of the race. Yes, I'm pretty sure we are. Simoncic will come across the start-finish line to start the final lap of this race. He's been really dominating this race so far. Flawless by Simoncic. You cannot say the same for championship leader Adam Jajowski, who jumped the start, and as a result of that, DNFs. Jordan lost the connection to Capet now. Michi Hoyer really close to the back of him. Will Hoyer be able to take that position away from Dennis Jordan in the final lap of the race? He's gonna have to get a great run out of the Hugenottsbocht. And he's too far back now. I think there's not going to be much changes here in this final few moments of this race. We've been racing for 30 minutes. Hasn't been a lot of overtaking being done in the top 5, top 6. But that is definitely not for a lack of trying by the drivers. They have definitely fought hard to try and gain the positions, but of course Zandvoort is not an easy track to overtake on. Jurne Simoncic though, he has been the man of the day. He comes out of the final corner for the final time to take victory here in Zandvoort for round 4 of the Griiip G1 Virtual Series, presented by Fiverr. Amazing race by Simoncic after qualifying on pole position by only a few hundredths of a second. Petr Brojak had to defend hard from Alex Siebel, but I think with a great setup, with a lot of top speed on that car, was able to fend off Alex Siebel, who finishes in third. Risto Capet takes a big bite out of the championship lead of Erhan Jajowski, and I think he will now be tied with Jajowski, if I'm doing the maths correctly, by finishing in P4. So great job by Capet, and that really opens up the championship coming into the next two races that are still to go. Dennis Jordan in 5th. He has tried to get past Capet, but really hasn't been able to succeed by doing so. Michi Hoyer, good 6th position for him. Jason Muscat in 7th. I think that's a great result for him as well. Then 8th, Alexander Dorniden. Diego Ramos down in 9th. Kiro Bidukov finish in 10th. Alessandro Ottaviani in 11th. And Dean Vella 12th. Alan Day in 13th. Matteo Stumpf in 14th. And carrying the red lantern across the line is Cosimo Papi. Great race once again here in the Griiip G1 Virtual Series. And we will be looking to get some driver interviews in now. Let's see, I think we're going to start with P3 finisher Alex Siebel. Alex, congrats on getting on the podium today. How was your race today?
Thanks. Well, the start was quite chaotic. I had a little bit of luck after turn 3 to be in the right space, and then it was just chasing Petar. Well, I had maybe 1 or 2 opportunities, but he defended well, so more than P3 wasn't possible. But I'm really happy to be on the podium today.
Yeah, do you think that the top speed played a big role? Because just from what I saw, of course, I don't know exactly, your wings were perhaps a little bit higher, and of course then you have a little bit less top speed than what Petar Bojak had on his Williams car?
Yes, I think so too. I mean, I had to make this trade-off, and I felt more comfortable with higher wings, so I gone for this route. Maybe it helped me in qualifying as well, but yeah, in the end, in a direct fight with Petar, it was maybe the wrong choice, but I don't think I would have been in this position in the first place if I had gone lower wings.
Right, okay. That makes sense. Looking forward to Azure. What are your thoughts on that race coming up? Of course, that's, I think, one of the most challenging races coming up in this championship.
Yeah, I think qualifying will be even more important, especially since we won't have a private session. So it's key to get a clean lap in. And then, well, from there on, I think it's just not doing silly mistakes and drive into the wall. But yeah, qualifying will be key there, and I'm looking forward to it. I like these kind of challenges.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. Thanks for talking to us, and once again, congrats on that podium finish.
Thanks.
Moving on to Petar Bojak, then Petar, 2nd place for you. You weren't really able to keep with Jonas Simoncic here, but I think still a good result for you here.
Yeah, hi, thanks. I thought it was a little better than I expected. I was never sure with this car because at the beginning I was off pace compared to others. And so every time I come to a new race, it's like, okay, will I be half second slower, 3/10 slower, maybe up there? So this time it was, I guess, the closest so far this season. Yeah, I tried to keep the position. I did a jump start, and then I tried to save fuel for 22 laps because it was a bit close, but I saw like the last 6-7 laps that it's not going to happen, so I pushed a bit more, and it was quite tough to manage with Alex behind me. I think everything was clean, more or less. There was a little bump once or twice, but I think it was a fun battle. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch as well. Are you looking forward to the next race? Of course, Circuit d'Azur, one of the most challenging races on the calendar.
Yeah, I think qualifying is going to be a lottery. That's for sure. And then the race don't stuff it in the wall under braking, especially like Harbor Chicane. The car over rotates a bit there, and you're on the inside wall. So, yeah, gotta take it. You gotta be in rhythm there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for talking to us, Petar, and once again, congrats on that 2nd place finish.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to the driver of the day, in my view, Jonas Simoncic. Big congratulations on finishing in 1st and winning today. How was your race today? I guess pretty lonely at the front.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a nice battle with Erhan after. I thought that he jumped at the start, but that the game would maybe just not give him the penalty for reaction at time 0. But in the end, yeah, it was the drive-through for him. But without that, for sure, it would have been a crazy battle for the win. But yeah, with Erhan's DNF, it was just cruising home. I still had some good fun, pushed the car a little bit. And with Peter dropping off, I was sure what was going on. And yeah, now in the interview, it was confirmed. So yeah, my suspect that he was going for 22 laps on fuel. And yeah, I knew that it was not possible at all to do extra lap. I was 7 seconds off in the end. But that's it.
Yeah, something interesting that I saw also some other drivers do in the qualifying and also in the race. Turn 3, turn 4, the Hugenotsbocht, the newly cambered one. We saw you, especially in qualifying, and I guess also in the race, take the white line, like avoiding the apex, taking full advantage of the banking. Do you think that really helps you in qualifying to get pole position here?
For me, for my driving style, for my setup, it was faster to go around the outside. Because if I went down to the inside, the tires would just slide and struggle over the elevation change. So I was afraid someone will dive bump into the apex and then squeeze me off at the exit. But in the end, there was no such thing happening, especially with me being alone in the lead. So
yeah, great job once again, and thank you for talking to us. A massive congratulations, of course, to you for winning today here in Zandvoort.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the broadcast.
My pleasure. So that wraps it up for today. I think we've had some great races. The amateur race, of course, earlier in the day, and now the pro race finished up with a great bit of battling and a great bit of racing being shown by these drivers. I want to give a big thank you for all the viewers across all platforms that we've been live on, of course, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and also all the viewers on ESPN and ESR 24/7. A big thank you to all for watching. We will be back in 1 week's time. We're going to get racing around the Circuit d'Azur. Of course, a big thanks as well to everybody that's behind the scenes making stuff work. Justin Mifsud doing the broadcast. Adrian Figallo has been the race director for today, and the chief steward George Muscat, all doing a great job in making sure these races are run in the way that they should be. However, for now, it is time to close off. From me, Felix van Elft, and from everybody here at World Pro Racing, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in 1 week's time. Bye-bye.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Want to quit your day job? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
This is bad. Wait, let's just do it ourselves.
It is not fear that grips him, only restlessness, a heightened sense of things. The smell of engine and sweat, the engine rattling his blood, the crowd roaring. The race is about to start. He breathes deeply to focus. In this league, he finally found what he was looking for. A true passion.
Sono Massimo Paganini e per anni ho cercato una macchina che mi desse gioia, adrenalina nella guida e finalmente l'ho trovata nella G1 Series. Se anche tu vuoi provare una macchina che ti dia gioia e adrenalina, G1 Series 2020.
So, you think you got what it takes to race in the G1 Series? Can you keep your concentration? Even in the most stressed situations, can you keep pushing even when things go wrong? Can you master different environments? Can you adapt immediately to different conditions? Can you keep learning? Learning from your opponents, learning from your mistakes, learning from everyone, anytime, anywhere, until you reach your goal and become the best you can. Think you got what it takes to race in the 2020 G1 Series? Then fill in the form now.
Want real followers? Become a pro streamer. Want to become a pro streamer? Get your panels, overlays, banners, emotes, and more at the Fiverr Twitch store.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.